तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नम ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. We continue reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, Text 12, where Vidur is putting questions to Maitreya Muni. He's first asking him about the creation. So, Munir Vivakshur Bhagavad Gunanam Sakhapi Te Bharatam Aha Krishnaha Yasmin Nirnam Gramya Sukhanuvadir Matir Grihitanu Hare Kathayam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Your friend, the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, has already described the transcendental qualities of the Lord in his great work, the Mahabharata. But the whole idea is to draw the attention of the mass of people to Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, through their strong affinity for hearing mundane topics. The great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas is the author of all Vedic literature. Of his works, Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Mahabharata are very popular readings. As stated in Bhagavatam 1.4.25, Srila Vyasadeva compiled the Mahabharata for the less intelligent class of men who take more interest in mundane topics than in the philosophy of life. So Mahabharata is like a candy which is given to the patient before taking the medicine, because the medicine is bitter for the patient, although it will cure him. So then a candy is given, sweetened up. So that's how Mahabharata is. Why? Because it has a lot of politics, a lot of, like thrill. And then there is also so much torture happening and economics. But in between all that, the most important message is the message of the Bhagavad Gita. And what's the most important message of the Bhagavad Gita? That Krishna is saying, surrender unto me, become my devotee. So, but people are not willing to readily accept it. So then they are kind of, how a child, when you want to feed him and the child doesn't want to eat, then you will make up different ways to make the child eat. So then that's how Mahabharata was compiled. The Vedanta Sutra was compiled for persons already above the mundane topics, who might already have tasted the bitterness of the so-called happiness of mundane affairs. The first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That is, only when one has finished the business of mundane inquiries in the marketplace of sense gratification can one make relevant inquiries regarding Brahman, the transcendence. So what is the Vedanta Sutra? Sutra means something which is given in a very, very short form. What needs to be explained is given in a very short, and then it can be expanded and expanded. So the Vedanta Sutra, the knowledge of the Vedas, it's put in very short messages, and then the people, they expand on it. And then what is the first, how does Vedanta Sutra begin? Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Athato Brahma Jigyasa means let's begin to inquire into the purpose of this human life. What is Brahman? Let us inquire into Brahman. And then, not everybody asks that question. Who am I? Why am I here? We have many, many questions. Where are you going? What are you doing? What did you do? What will you eat? What did he do? What did she do? But very, very few people asks, what's all this happening? What is all this all about? What is the creation about? And out of those many, many people who are asking, somebody might really try to find out what is Brahman. And out of those millions of people who are really trying to find out Brahman, after many thousands and thousands of life, one might become a devotee of Krishna. So it is so rare. Devotees of Krishna are very, very rare. Those persons who are busy with the mundane inquiries which fill the newspapers and other such literatures are classified as Stri, Shudra, Dvija Bandhus, or women, the laborer class, and unworthy sons of the higher classes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. Such less intelligent men cannot understand the purpose of Vedanta Sutra, although they make a show of studying the sutras in a perverted way. The real purpose of Vedanta Sutra is explained by the author himself in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and anyone trying to understand Vedanta Sutra without reference to Srimad Bhagavatam is certainly misguided. So Vyasadeva, he wrote the Vedanta Sutra, and then he wrote a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. And that commentary is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's only the devotees who get attracted to Srimad Bhagavatam. Because many people, they like to study the Vedanta Sutra, especially the impersonalists, without touching the Srimad Bhagavatam. They just get so engrossed in the interpretation and the misinterpretation of the sutras, because they want to try to understand Krishna with own intelligence and thinking, but we can't understand Krishna without bhakti. The great author has compiled the Mahabharata in such a way that the less intelligent class of men who are more interested in mundane topics may read the Mahabharata with great relish, and in the course of such mundane happiness can also take advantage of Bhagavad Gita, the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam or the Vedanta Sutra. Srila Vyasadeva had no interest in writing a history of mundane activities, other than to give less intelligent persons a chance for transcendental realization through Bhagavad Gita. Vidur's reference to the Mahabharata indicates that he had heard of the Mahabharata from Vyasadeva, his real father, while he was away from home and was touring the places of pilgrimage. So that's the purpose of Mahabharata. All the Vedas, all the Puranas, all the literatures are meant to bring us to the point, to bring us to Krishna. That's what is the reason for all these great literatures. Is that okay? Any comments?
No, all good.
Text 13. Sa shraddha dhanasya vibardhamana viraktim anyatra karoti pumsaha Hare padanusmriti nivritasya samasta dukkhapayam ashudhate. For one who is anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics, Krishna Katha gradually increases his indifference towards all other things. Such constant remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna by the devotee who has achieved transcendental bliss vanquishes all his miseries without delay. We are all trying to see how to become more and more comfortable. Each of us has this experience of misery. It could be our own body or mind, or caused by others, caused by the natural calamities. And in some way or the other, we are always trying to put an end to the misery, but there is no material solution to our miseries. By our material solutions, many times we just aggravate the misery. Or even if we are able to take away that misery, it is very temporary for a short time. So what is the real real solution? Krishna Katha. We must certainly know that on the absolute plane, Krishna Katha and Krishna are one and the same. The Lord is the absolute truth, and therefore his name, form, quality, etc., which are all understood to be Krishna Katha, are non-different from him. So our name and our form is different. If somebody calls my name 5,000 miles away, I will not even be able to hear, nor is that person associating with me. But Krishna is not like that. When we are calling Krishna's name, when we are saying Krishna, able to actually, we are hearing it, then we are associating with Krishna. He is there in his name, in the names which we are sincerely trying to hear. He is there. Not when we are chanting, just our mind is going here and there. That's the reason the point is always made, try to hear, because the names that we are trying to hear, that we are associating with Krishna. So they are non-different from him. Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Lord, is as good as the Lord himself. When a sincere devotee reads Bhagavad Gita, this is as good as seeing the Lord face to face in his personal presence. But this is not so for the mundane wrangler. All the potencies of the Lord are there when one reads Bhagavad Gita, provided it is read in the way recommended in the Gita by the Lord himself. One cannot foolishly manufacture an interpretation of Bhagavad Gita and still bring about transcendental benefit. Anyone who tries to squeeze some artificial meaning or interpretation from Bhagavad Gita for an ulterior motive is not Shraddhadhana Pumsaha, one engaged anxiously in bona fide hearing of Krishna Katha. Such a person cannot derive any benefit from reading Bhagavad Gita, however great a scholar he may be in the estimation of a layman. The Shraddhadhana or faithful devotee can actually derive all the benefits of Bhagavad Gita because by the omnipotency of the Lord, he achieves the transcendental bliss which vanquishes attachment and nullifies all non-committant material miseries. So many people, there are so many Bhagavad Gitas in the market, so many, by so many different people. But they are not able to change the heart of anyone. With those reading those Bhagavad Gita, a person does not become a devotee. They're not beginning their spiritual journey. They're not associating with Krishna. Why is that? It's because they're not reading Bhagavad Gita. It's just the name is given Bhagavad Gita, but it is somebody else's song. It's not Krishna's song. Only when we hear Bhagavad Gita as it is, then we are actually associating with Krishna. That is actually Krishna Katha. But if we are reading a Bhagavad Gita which is just translated according to somebody's own misconceptions, they have their own misguided ideas or thoughts, then that kind of Bhagavad Gita is not good for that person himself and for the others who are reading it. So that's an important point, because we always have to hear from authority. Who are we hearing from? Are we really reading Bhagavad Gita or are we not? You know, because there's so many people, they say, I read Bhagavad Gita religiously every day. But Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna, but they don't know anything about Krishna. So, and then what happens? What happens when we are actually associating with Krishna by his holy name, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam? There's so many Bhakti Shastras. What happens? What's the result? Why are we always told, chant the holy name, read Bhagavad Gita, read Srimad Bhagavatam? Why? Because we achieve transcendental bliss. It's for our benefit, you know, not for others' benefit. We will achieve transcendental bliss, that happiness that we are truly seeking, that pleasure, that the fulfillment of the heart that we are seeking, we will get that. And then what happens? Our attachment is we can get rid of a material attachment and get attached to Krishna, and nullifies all non-committant material miseries. Then because we are attached to Krishna, and Krishna is the pleasure of all, he's the reservoir of all pleasure. Then so we are not miserable then. We don't feel the miseries. The miseries will keep coming. It's not that because somebody becomes a devotee, then a disease will say, or a mosquito will say, no, this person is a devotee, I will not bite that person. No, the miseries will come, but because the devotee is so attached to Krishna that the miseries don't appear to him as miseries. He does not get so baffled by them. He can just see them as Krishna's will, as for his own purification. Depends on whatever level he's at. So only the devotee by his factual experience can understand the import of this verse spoken by Vidur. The pure devotee of the Lord enjoys life by constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, by hearing Krishna Katha. Now, when we eat something sweet, we are associating with sugar, and so we feel the sweetness, right? So similarly, Krishna is the most sweetest. So when we associate with him, we also feel the sweetness. All the happiness that is there in Krishna's form. So when we associate with Krishna, we feel happy. Was such a devotee, there is no such thing as material existence, and the much advertised bliss of Brahmananda is like a fig for the devotee who is in the midst of the transcendental ocean of bliss. So many people are always saying mukti, liberation, moksha. Well, actually at least I've not yet come across the word moksha in Bhagavad Gita. It's mukti they speak about. So that is liberation, means attaining the Brahman platform, situated in the Brahma Jyoti, in the light. And that is, everyone is wanting to go there, much advertised bliss of Brahmananda. But what does a pure devotee want? He does not want this to be in the light, because he is in the ocean of happiness. In the light, there is happiness which is just very tiny, in the hoof print of a calf. Calf is so small, and the hoof print of a calf is so small. So if somebody gives you so much degree of money, for example, will you take that, or will you take an ocean, unlimited? Of course, the unlimited ocean. So the happiness derived is also compared that way. Is that okay?
That means that mukti and moksha are different.
Actually, I haven't come across moksha, till now in our Bhagavad Gita. I don't remember. I don't think the word moksha. Sheetal, does moksha come in Bhagavad Gita?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's mukti. Wherever we hear, it's always mukti. That means liberation.
And Bhagavad Gita says you have to maintain a balance between pravrutti and nivrutti.
Yes.
Yeah. So moksha doesn't come in between, because whoever is a devotee of Krishna, he wants to relish his transcendental bliss by being associated with him and not merging in his divine light. That is what I have understood since I am reading Bhagavad Gita.
Jai, wonderful. That's what exactly it is.
Yeah.
No, but that's what we are saying about a devotee.
Yes.
But wherever we have heard in India, people never talk about this. They just talk about mukti. They talk about moksha.
Because they are not guided properly.
No, they are not guided properly. That's what I'm saying. What is the difference? That's what I'm asking. What is the difference between mukti and moksha?
So, okay, moksha, what they are saying is also the same thing. Their meaning
Okay.
to be liberation. And then many people, they have a misconception.
Okay.
It's not being understood. Many people think moksha means you become nothing. You become the light. Stop existing, you become God. That is what their idea is. But if a child suppose a child says that I'm an astronaut and I'm going into space. Does that actually make him an astronaut and go into space? Children talk so many things, you know. Don't they make up so many? Have you heard children speaking?
Yeah, the stories they tell.
Yeah, they're just stories, right? They're just talking, but that's not real. It doesn't make them that. So when people are talking about moksha and mukti, it's not that they're really on that platform, you know, just talking. It's like children talking that way.
So that means that they're really misguided, because lots and lots of people just talk about that.
Yeah, so
there is just a 0.5% or maybe 10%, as you say, are the one who want to associate with Krishna, but otherwise the rest just want moksha. Because whole of the Jain and even a lot of other of my, even in our culture, there are so many elderly people who say ki bas moksha mil jaye beta, bas moksha mil jaye. Everybody's just hankering after moksha.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, much advertised because they don't know. And Krishna says it's very rare. A devotee of Krishna is very rare. Very rare. You know, he says it himself. He said.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Because
then,
I've not even heard from our elders also.
yeah, it's very rare. And imagine, so that's why the Audarya, the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, that he's freely giving Krishna prema to everybody, whoever's willing to take it. Just take it, free. How much merciful he is. Because Krishna says no, in the Bhagavad Gita, it's very rare, a devotee, out of millions and millions of people who are trying to understand the truth, one may actually try to understand it. Of those thousands of people trying to, who have understood the truth, one will become a devotee of Krishna. So he himself is saying it. But mercy of Lord Chaitanya is so great. He's telling everybody become a devotee.
Right.
So yeah, it's people are misguided, and then that's why Lord Chaitanya says, "Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh." Yeah.
But one question, like, how can you just say that there's only one Bhagavad Gita which is authorized? Bhagavad Gita is it this, and the other books are not recognized.
So we can. The test is, so then there would be the authentic Bhagavad Gita written, which are translated by the acharyas, who are coming in the line of disciplic succession. Now, I have personally read a book which was called Bhagavad Gita, and when I read it, I couldn't understand what was being said in it, and Lord Krishna was not even mentioned in that one.
That okay. I mean, if Lord Krishna is not mentioned, then definitely,
So
yeah.
I have
It's
read,
not the Bhagavad Gita.
because when I was also a seeker trying to understand what's what, Bhagavad Gita, my friends are reading Bible, my other friends are reading Quran, I should read Bhagavad Gita. Let me go to the store and purchase a Bhagavad Gita. And I did that. And I couldn't understand what it was.
Yeah, but there will be also, right? Some
There
Bhagavad Gitas which are like, which
Yes.
are authorized. Like,
Yes, there would be, for sure.
Definitely.
Yes. We just
Right?
have to find them. Yes.
Have to find, yeah.
Yes. We have to make sure that, because there are some Bhagavad Gita which really look very nice, but they still have the impersonalist idea. They still have that impersonalist idea that right now you are in the body, but after you give up the body, you can become God. You don't need God after that. You don't need to do bhakti after that. You do bhakti now, but after you give up the body, you are God then. Or you will become the light, or you are the light, or something like that. So we have to be careful who we are hearing.
Like what we are. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But of course, definitely, because that's how the Bhagavad Gita is coming in the parampara. Right?
Right.
It's coming in the parampara. And so we have to hear from the authorities. Like Srila Prabhupada. He is not, so the commentaries, the purpose that Srila Prabhupada is writing, he is taking it from the previous acharyas. He's taking it from commentaries of Baladeva Vidyabhusham, of Sridhar Swami, like, of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami. It's not only, he's not putting his interpretation.
So it could be even other acharyas, right?
Oh,
Like,
yes.
okay, not in this, but in the other parampara.
Yes, there would be, for sure. There would be. Yes. So the test of a Bhagavad Gita is, after reading the Bhagavad Gita, a person can recognize his own position in truth. In truth. Who am I? Who's God? What's my relationship with God? How can I be situated in that relationship? How do I put an end factually to this material miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease and go back home, back to Godhead? You know, so there will be. We just have to find it. Yeah, and then once we find it, then we should hear from it with faith. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll stop here for today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
Bhagavad Gita is a song of God, right? Krishna's song. It's Krishna's song. So if a person is becoming any Bhagavad Gita, if it's making a person a devotee of Krishna, it is a perfect Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Right.
So, all right. Thank you so much for joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shilpa.
So that you mean is that if the Bhagavad Gita is coming in parampara, right?
Yes.
It means that if the Bhagavad Gita is written by an acharya who is in parampara,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That means authority. It's coming from an authority. Otherwise, there are so many acharyas who are not even in parampara.
But then they're not acharyas. That's just something they're calling themselves.
Oh, okay. So if they just write, then it's not that, it's their own mundane philosophy.
See, again, I see. Have you all heard children talking when you go to the playground? I am a doctor. Let's play doctor. Doctor, I'm a doctor. Come to me. I will cure you. But
that doesn't make him doctor.
Is that really going to cure somebody?
Yeah.
It's just the children are just playing pretend, right? So there's so many people who play pretend. I'm a guru. Come. I'm an acharya. Come to me. This is the teachings. It's just that same thing. You know,
Right.
it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.